Hey everyone, welcome to Community Roots, a place where we gather in community to talk about mental health so we can travel the journey of life together. I'm Samuel Richards.
I'm Julie Richards.
I'm Sarah
And we
Wakefield.
did it 2023, folks.
We're all three together
Oh,
again.
that's true. Yeah, exactly.
This is like a reunion almost. It feels like it's been a little while. It's been a hot minute.
It feels like I've run my own home run and I'm coming back to my cheering.
Yes, we need that like cheer
Finish
thing
line.
going. Roar, roar. You
It's slow
did it.
motion.
You made it to a new calendar year. You survived
Woo!
2022.
Mm,
So proud.
good stuff.
Yeah, it's been a hard couple weeks all around. I'm glad that we're all together in the same place for sure. I'm glad, Sarah, that you're back with us as well.
Thank you. It's been a long haul. The holidays were hard. I know we talked a lot beforehand about how the holidays were, how to handle the holidays and the stress of the holidays. And I tell you what, I made the use of all of that.
Nice.
During,
Little did you know how much it would be needed. Like,
yes.
oh,
Hey, well, that's good advertisement for the holiday help episode.
that's right.
Absolutely. Please listen.
I'm glad that you had the tools at least, and I'm glad your resiliency is pulling you through this as well. I can tell in your own demeanor that you seem a little happier and a little lighter on your feet.
It's amazing what your energy levels can do to your health, both
Mm.
mental and emotional, because there were days where I just had to constantly remind myself to come back to center and to get back in my body. And I did that over and over and over and over again. So it certainly wasn't like the beginning of the day where I'm like, okay, I'm in my body now. And then I went through the rest of my day feeling great. No, it was constantly. But I'm so glad I had those resources to pull myself back in and to breathe it back into my body because it was a long several weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And now
I
my
love
energy's back up. And I just feel like I'm like, okay, let's go. What are we doing next? I'm ready to do this. We're going to climb some mountains. We're going to go on some treks. Like, let's get stuff done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody's energy has been deteriorating over these last couple weeks because of holiday and stuff, but you've just been feeling better. So you're like, let's go. It's springtime, baby.
Yeah. Who cares that there's no sun outside and that it's dark all the time?
Well, that's pretty good segue because I was actually thinking about, new year, new us, 2023. It's a good time to be able to look into the future, figure out some like aspirations, some goals, maybe look at some past stuff. You're rip-roaring with the energy, Sarah. What's something on your 2023?
Wow, I am ready to stay connected. I've been doing yoga with Adrienne,
Nice.
and I love
Nice.
her. Yes, Julie. I love her 30 days at the beginning of every year because it helps me recenter and take stock of how my
Hmm.
body feels. So one of my goals for this year is physical
Mm.
fitness. I noticed I've been sore since day one of yoga with Adrienne, and it is not a high intensity program. And so I'm like, you know what? This is a big year for me. I'm turning 40.
Yay.
Let's just, that's just it. That's all I need to know about this year is that I'm turning 40. And so my health is kind of a priority, which it never really has been. It's always been off to the side. But now I have space and I'm ready to take that step. So for me, it's about centering and being healthy and what can I do nutritionally and physically to help my body for another 40 to 50 years, maybe 60.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Mm-hmm.
it.
And what's neat with Yoga with Adrienne for January, she always has a theme. And this year's theme is center. So everything that you're describing, Sarah, is like coming back to center, getting back in your body. And I love how she does that every January too, because it's like a reset from the
Hmm.
holidays where we got maybe a little carried away or extra sugar or off track with our bodies. And it kind of is a good reset, clean slate, get back into it. I've been doing it as well. And the one day in particular, she had us go into this lunge, and I all of a sudden felt something like pull where I was like, whoa there. Like you're like, hold up, you are a little too exuberant. And so it was interesting how I had to be more conscious of how I was moving into the poses, because it was like overstretched, and I kind of had a slight injury starting to feel, like, oh, that just pulled my lower back. And I'm super excited. I shared with Samuel and Sarah before this recording started, but I'm going to share with you all that I had a chiropractor appointment today. And Samuel's laughing at me. Why are you sharing this, Mom?
No, it's good. I love the
But
energy.
I didn't. Yeah, like I didn't need any adjustment because, and I even shared about this, like over pulling my lunge, and my chiropractor said your body knew how to get yourself back into alignment and to recover and to have the right posture and to know what to do, and your body knows how to heal itself. And I was like, oh my goodness, what a celebratory appointment. I didn't get charged. There was no adjustment to make, and good bill of health. And she said, your body's just getting stronger and healthier. And I was like, this is an amazing start to a new year.
Yeah, it sounds
Wow.
like there was some celebratory coffee involved. That's always a win.
Yes, I decided. Yeah, I went to Starbucks for an early before work vanilla chai special, because someone had given me a gift card for Christmas, and I thought this would be an excellent day on a Friday morning, and it was snowing. I was like, this is a great day to celebrate, and I didn't mind sitting in a long, slow line and just enjoying that I was going to have a wonderful vanilla
That the
chai latte
chiropractor just said,
to
"You're done.
celebrate.
You don't need to see us anymore. You've you've hit the you've done everything we can."
I went back to the counter. I'm like, I passed. I did it. I just felt like victory run. It was just so much fun.
That's awesome. I'm glad. It's good to start off the new year with a victory. Something that I think kind of plays to this common theme as well is, so Connie hurt her foot this past weekend, and it was bad enough. She was hobbling around on crutches. She's feeling well, but when we went to the to OSU, they were like, we're just gonna wrap your foot, take ibuprofen if you need it, but overall, as long as you give your body the right environment, it'll heal itself. And so I think that's something, Mom, that you experienced, Sarah, that you probably experienced as well. And so I don't know, that says something to the resiliency, and I guess maybe the importance of coming back to home base, to use that 2022 term.
Yeah.
That's what we need, Mom, is a theme for every year. 2022 was coming back to
wouldn't
home
that be
base.
fun?
We'll throw that on the old back burner for now. But
the brainstorming.
Anyway, so I think that's really great, and pretty much the importance of, taking care of yourself and how that pays off, even in a mental health way or in a physical way. I think both of those things kind of pay off.
And checking in with our body for the posture piece, because I had been having some lower back pain, that just adjusting like how I hold my posture and kind of not overarching my back and kind of checking in with my spine actually has been really helpful. And that's so awesome that if you're paying attention to that you can actually help yourself.
I love how every time we talk about posture, everybody just kind of, you see the adjustments.
Everybody adjusts, like check in with your spine, and your
head over
neck and
heart.
your head is an extension of your spine, and head over heart, heart over pelvis.
I can only imagine how many people are in the car going, okay, time to start
checking in on their age.
Maybe adjust the rear hand mirror there because he had been slouching for so long.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's great. And so in a similar vein, talking too about, we wanted to take this time with you as the listener to kind of talk about some of the fun things that we're going to do, some of the directions that we want to go, and kind of, how we'd love to have you along in the process. Yeah. So we've got a couple of cool, a couple of great plans. You can see everybody's rip-roaring. Yeah, something that is really cool for me, some plans. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and put some community roots plans out there. So we talked about some small stuff, like instead of doing seasons, life, we're just going to put it all on as a episode after episode, and so you'll feel seasons as we kind of go through seasons as humans, but overall it'll kind of just be episode after episode. So that's my small short-term goal, but my long-term goal with Community Roots this year, even in the next couple months, is getting us back on the radio. I think that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. You know, as you were talking about transitioning out of doing seasons, what I find interesting is that we have been doing this for 3.5 years, and coming into it'll be 4, and how we had season 1, season 2, season 3. In a way, that was all foundation building. That was kind of the warm up. This is the like, okay, now that we've got our footing and we have our foundation, it's a good reference point because we went through a lot of transitions in season 1 and season 2 and season 3 as far as how we did things, how we named ourselves, and where we are currently is kind of a little bit of a new beginning and a new launch in a way, a new adventure. We're doing some social media things that you all can be looking for that have been a creative outlet for really trying to get to the point where we share very consistently. Starting off this new year, we've been describing what our various segments are in case anyone is new to Community Roots, that there are actually 5 different logos and different ways that we creatively give you opportunity to engage in your mental health. And you might find a certain style that you really like, but all of it is under the umbrella of Community Roots. So we're kind of reintroducing those for the first time, and then we'll work our way into quotes from our episodes or engagement from you all. We would love for you to reach out and have dialogue with us and giving us feedback about what's helpful, about things that you're wanting us to talk about in our episodes, and just to connect people and help you feel more supported, more connected, less alone. All of that, I think, are important goals in our offering to you all of this podcast.
Julie, can I piggyback on that real fast and say we do want to hear whatever questions you have. This isn't coming, we don't want to hear, or we're not here to qualify what questions are out there from our listeners. Really, anything is up to be discussed. Um, I know I benefit so much from these conversations, and I have questions myself, and I try to and I bring them in. But as a listener, whatever you want to discuss or have us discuss or mull over, we would love to do that. So that participation is really critical to making sure that we're providing a service that meets your needs.
And that we're a community, you know? Dialogue is a two-way street.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? I was reading this the other day, that most of our lives, I mean, this is something we've said as well, is just input output. We're just kind of going through the motions, you know, get out of bed, you know, brush your teeth, whatever your morning routine is. That most of what we're doing is just kind of something that there's input and then there's output. And one of the ways that just lights all of our brain up in a way that becomes unique and becomes, you know, a growth experience is dialogue. And just being able to having a simple conversation with somebody lights up your brain instead of, you know, just kind of being that passive. So yeah, definitely reach out. That would be one of my things for 2023 too. You know, having a deeper dialogue with, you know, the entire Community Roots community, even those whose voices you can't hear on the the recording. But yeah.
You know what's cool about our brains with that you made me think of is that we have mirror neurons where they will look at what's lighting up in one person's brain as they are interacting with the other person, and the brains can kind of match. Like there's activity that one brain is kind of calling forth in the other, which is super awesome. And it is such a I was just going to say such a conversation of like serve and return. Like we're out here as real humans on the same path, going through very similar things, each in our own way, but really desiring to grow deeper, be healthy, be able to connect to ourselves, to each other, and we're real human beings, the authenticity of that and offering that invitation so that it can be received. And so that there is a sense of back and forth and reciprocity or mutuality that we'd love to know that you're out there.
So we can sync up. Sarah, what are some of your goals for podcasting 2023?
So I struggle sometimes to find my niche in this team because Julie brings this expertise, and Samuel, you're our director, operator. What's the other word that you are? Producer. And I'm the layperson, and so I have my perspective, but my hope is to somehow know more about what to say or what questions to ask, and because I do feel that as a layperson, I have more of a color commentary approach in this group. And I think that's why I interjected Julie earlier to ask our listeners to supply questions and feedback and everything, because I'd like to be a voice for that. I'd like to be a voice to speak up for our community, so we can connect with each other. And so I guess that's another call out to our community to give me that opportunity. And maybe I'll spend more time brainstorming questions ahead of time or thoughts ahead of time, to give a little more um, of a mindful approach in these conversations.
I think it's great, even as the new year starts, just like a refresh, even being like, okay, what are my priorities, and being able to kind of reattach those. I had something that I'm going to pull from Guy, that's follow your passion. And I wonder if like all three of us can definitely do this, and the listener as well. Because like, especially if we can get these topics that just get us excited, Sarah, to see you talk about like your mental health and your body, like you could tell like you were jazzed about it. And so I want to be able to find that. And two, like we've had some listener questions episodes where like we've had listener questions on the air. So if that's your question, then you're like, oh yeah, this is what got me. So I wonder, like, open call to everyone who's listening, like, how can we follow our passion? How can we, dive a little deeper, figure out what gets excited, and then dig into that a little bit, just, ride that momentum.
How about you, Samuel? What are your priorities?
Definitely the radio. I would love, the community here. I would love to talk about that more, because like the community being Columbus, being like Central Ohio, we're a community that's growing. Intel's coming. There's a lot happening. We're gonna grow a lot, and this is one of the ways we can re-engage that community. And we're worldwide. We've got people listening worldwide, and I like to refocus as well and say, hey, let's spread the word here in Columbus as well. So that's what I'm looking forward to, community. And on a side note, this is totally different, but yeah, Mom, at some point I want to talk to you about this nonprofit I want to start called Oasis. That's about getting food and community, kind of like with what Shane will be talking about next week, but into food deserts and stuff like that, where there isn't access to food. But anyway, so I've got a lot of plans for 2023. I'm excited for it. I think, we're in the darkest months of the year, and so to just kind of look ahead and kind of plan where those sites are, where it isn't going to be as cold and isn't going to be as dark, it's invigorating. It gets you some energy.
It gives such a different feel toward what you're doing when it's something that really is a passion or an interest. It's such an easier thing to motivate whenever it's something we really care about. And so I think it is so helpful to kind of listen to, what are the things that matter to me? What are the things that are worth my time and energy and that I get excited about? And how do I kind of show up in meaningful ways, uniquely as ourselves, individually, but also collectively, like for us as community roots or within our family systems, our relationships, our communities, our neighborhoods, our workplaces, um, to connect in with being present with who we are, who we're becoming. That's so much more engaged and intentional than just going through the motions and kind of drifting off or zoning off or um, having things falling through the cracks. It's like there's such purpose and meaning and intentionality in it that just sounds so beautiful.
I dig it.
Mhm.
Great. Well, thanks so much for joining us this week. I want to start getting in the habit, speaking of New Year's stuff, is talking about some of the ways that you can link in. If you go to our link tree that has all of our links, you can find that at linktree/community roots. That's linktr.ee/community roots. Or we're kind of at the point where you can just search us on Google, look us up on iTunes, Spotify. If you're already connected in that way and you want to be able to, rate us on iTunes or Spotify, let us know how we're doing. And also, spread this free resource for mental health kind of further. Mom is restarting Facebook and Instagram in an engaging way, so definitely go on to those as well. You can search Community Roots Pod there, or maybe you're the emailer type. You just want to be able to email us, get right to our cell phones, almost like a modern text anymore. You can go to communityrootspod@gmail.com. So before we do gratitudes and affirmations, I did want to say thanks to Steve Dodge for the theme song, Alexander Wells for the logo. My sister, Emma Richards, is helping us out with some social media stuff, too, so thank you, Emma. And then, as always, thanks to Mom for hosting the podcast. But, yeah, what have we got? 2023 gratitudes, affirmations.
I'm definitely excited for a new year and good things coming up this year for our family, for my practice, for our podcast. I have to say, I don't know if you saw it, either of you, Samuel or Sarah. Emma did a shout out to us on her
Whoa.
business for M. Grace Photography. She's a wedding photographer and does some senior pictures and things like that. But she did a shout out and she is very vocal about mental health and just being very authentic and very human and sharing struggle, but also sharing ways to be healthy and how to grow and what she's learning from it. So she's a great human out there in the world. And she did a shout out to Community Roots on one of her recent things, which was super cool. And she does have such an artistic flair and has been helping teach me how to do some of that with Facebook and Instagram. So if any of you are enjoying those posts, please repost and share and help spread the word that way. Would be a great way to reach more people.
I have a gratitude for the entire medical staff that spent several days taking care of me off and on. And I'm really appreciative of all of our nurses and our doctors and our care associates. If you're in any way involved with a medical center, I just really appreciate all of the hard work that goes into making sure that the customer experience is a good one. And I definitely came away from multiple trips feeling that I had received excellent care. And I know that's hard, especially right now. And it's been hard, and it's been hard for people for several years now to come and give all you've got every day. So thank you to everyone in the health industry.
And their IT people. I heard those guys are great. No, that's fantastic.
They are amazing.
They keep the whole thing running.
I'll make mine quick, but it is sincere. It's so great sitting down with the two of you. I feel like we can just sit down and knock it out, and that's awesome. There's a level of comfortability there and friendship, so I'm appreciative of that. But anyway, thank you all for joining us. Join us, please, for next episode, Off the Beaten Path with Shane Martin. I'm very excited. We talk about some food. We talk about some negotiation. We talk about suicide hotline. It's wild. So definitely join us then, and have a good week.
And keep checking out Deep Breath.
And keep listening to Deep Breath.
Oh, yeah, there's that. You bet it's a little